I would like to introduce my wonderful co-host. This is Ginger Mullins, and Ginger Mullins is a wonderful mother of two. She has been storytelling for over 25 years, but she looks phenomenal. And she runs a business here in town called Gingerbread Way. So if you're ever interested in some incredible work that's happening with storytelling and with understanding, please look up Ginger Mullins. And now, Ginger, take it away.
I'd like to thank all of the storytellers for sharing their rich stories with us tonight, and all the listeners for your patience as we work through some of these technical issues. As a new storytelling format, we're still getting over some of those bumps. So our storytellers have shared their personal experiences and insights, their cultural teachings, their folk heroes, and their bits of wisdom wrapped in wonderful characters. And these stories, these legends, whether they're fiction or nonfiction, they all share the technique of engagingly written words, engagingly crafted words to reveal life's truths. So before Chantal finishes the evening with a song, I'd like to share a wee story. I promise you it's very short, that speaks to the idea of truth and story. And if you want to hear any of these stories again, this concert will be kept on Storytelling Alberta's YouTube channel. Please like us, please comment, please share us, and please tell stories. And so here is the story of truth and story. You may not know this, but truth and story are sisters. Now, truth, she's the sensible sister. She always wore a plain tunic. She styled her hair in one long braid, and she didn't wear makeup. She didn't even wear jewelry. She didn't adorn herself in any way. Now, her sister, Story, was the opposite, as sisters often are, and she was absolutely flamboyant. She liked to wear long, colorful tunics that dragged behind her in the street. And she liked to wear her hair loose and wild. And she loved to adorn herself. She called her eyes and she rouged her lips. And she wore long earrings, and oh, how she loved bangles. She would wear them all the way up her arms so that you could hear Sister Story walking long before you could see her. And when people heard that wonderful jangling of her bangles, all work stopped. And people looked and watched with wonder as she walked down the street, oh, so elegant, so regal. And the children would gather at her feet and say, "Tell us what you know." And she would. Sometimes it was a story of magic or a description of a delightful feast. It was whatever she felt like talking about that day. And she would carry on her way, and people would watch, and they would not start working again until they could no longer hear her. Now, Truth, she also wanted people to hear her, to listen to her. But she didn't wear those bangles, so they couldn't hear her. And well, she wore that simple tunic, and she kind of blended into the background a little bit. And she would yell out, "Listen to me. I have something important to say." But people were not interested. They just kept working. And so one day, Truth decided to do what many sisters do. She decided to borrow a couple of items from Sister Story's wardrobe. And the next time that Sister Truth went out, why, people could hear her long before they could see her. And when they finally saw her, they could see her rich robes dragging behind her, those colorful tunics. And well, they could see her cauled eyes and her rouged lips and her crazy hair. And they gathered around her feet, those children did, and they said, "Tell us what you know." And well, she did. And she rather liked that feeling of being listened to. And so Truth decided not to return those items to her sister. And from that day to this, That is why we cannot tell the difference between Sister Truth and Sister Story. Thanks for listening.